under what conditions should a brand not work with influencers? Like, what do you see if some, like, I'm sure you get a ton of inbound. What do you see in a brand on their website or in their marketing team or in their product? So tell us some situation under which a brand should not work with influencers and maybe focus on something else and get to a point where they're mature enough where influencers or affiliates become a good channel.
Yeah, so okay, so frozen brands, I just no.
Why not?
No, I just think it's expensive. Some beverages, depending on your shipping, like when you're gifting or just any D2C in general, like kind of that I would just say be wary of. Also, I think that your inventory needs to be ready. Do you have 50 gifts that you can send out in the first month? Do you have that? We've run into issues where we had a client and they're like, "Oh, we're sold out." I'm like, what? Like amazing, but like now like we gotta pause the program. Like if we're recruiting and sending some gifts. So I think have your inventory, have enough inventory. Look at your shipping and what does that look like? Is it expensive? Like what do your margins look like? I think your website, again, I'll just go back to that, needs to look good. I mean, somebody came to us and like, okay, I'm ready to start. And I did my website and I looked at it. I'm like, how do I approach this? Because if I'm really honest about it, this person might not want to work with me, but I can't not be. So I'm like, I think it's really scary. The website's scary. Like the people look scary to me. Like I know you're talking about low sugar, but like they look scary. You need to immediately change that. It makes absolutely zero sense. Like if you drive people there, no one's going to understand what you do. I'm like, you might not like me for saying that, but I hope that you change it. And even if you go work with somebody else, like that's fine. But the website's really important. If you want to make conversions, it's got to be ready to go. I think, and also the other thing too, well, no, I mean, if you're just beginning, I mean, obviously you're looking for that social proof, but people are going to go to your Instagram. So I think your socials need to be somewhat built out. It doesn't mean that you can't launch with an affiliate program. It doesn't mean any of that or ambassadors. It just means that have relevant things that people understand like on your socials.
Yeah, I love it. And we've got a few brands that have launched with influencers, and I think you don't, a lot of the times brands think they need, if they want to attract influencers with tens of thousands of followers, they also need to have tens of thousands of followers themselves. But then we've seen that that's pretty much never the case, even if it's a small account with a few hundred followers, but the content is on point. It's like the founder, one of the team members showing behind the scenes, showing the fact that it is actually a new brand and owning up to it.
Right.
I think
Right.
influencers are pretty happy. Actually find more better conversions with influencers accepting offers if it is a pre-launch brand because they want to get in on day
Yeah.
zero with these brands, right? Because usually they have like very larger brands reaching out to them. So then this is a little bit of a thrill that they also get that, hey, I get to contribute to a brand that might get really big in the future. Right. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think being like having your story, like your story just like, hey, this is who we are. I'm more for beginning brands, like we've been involved with many different startups and we're like, hey, this is we're just starting out. This is really valuable to us. And it is. I mean, authentically it is. I want to also say to not be transactional, just be different. Just because this industry can be really transactional at times, very much like just be human and insert your human self into it. You'll get so much out of it. It's relationships. It's relationship building.
Can you give an example of that? Is there a story or something, an incident that you can share? How being more relationship focused has helped you build these influencer programs?
I'll get on the phone with people. Like I'll get on the phone. I love a good old-fashioned phone call. Like if I need to hop on the phone with you and you want to talk to me or see me, let's go. Like I'm totally okay with that. Also, I show interest or share a little bit about yourself. Like I went into one of the communities. I'm like, hey, you guys should probably know who you're talking to. Like, here I am. My name's Kim. I live outside Philadelphia. I have two teenagers, three dogs, like cold brew, like, just humanizing it a little bit in your communities. Getting a little intimate, just drawing people in. Because what's going to happen in these communities is you're always going to see the cream rise to the top. You're always going to have your core people that are posting about you, love you. You want to find more of those people, right? But you also want to dig in with those that are digging in with you. You want to reward, you want to like give them accolades, you want to bring them out to your community. So I think it's just again, it really all goes back to just that's how relationships work.
It,
It's
it
really no
reminds me
different.
it reminds me of
Common
the
sense.
Pura Vida founder, because we did a breakdown of their program, and I think on one of the podcasts he says that he took, I think, his first 100 influencers out for lunches, right? And Pura Vida, as we know, has a really thriving, successful influencer program, and then that's what it took. Right, it's like literally taking everybody out for lunches. Now you don't have to do that. A simple phone call, even if simple things like adding them to some sort of a WhatsApp or a Facebook group and just engaging in there, doesn't even have to be a call.
100%.
Like
Yeah.
even that goes like the baseline, the bar is just so low for building relationships with creators that to do the bare minimum, like throw them in a WhatsApp group, like that also outperforms and helps you get better deals. We've seen influencers shout out brands without influencers with millions of followers, by the way, shout out brands without being paid for it, and they would otherwise charge tens of thousands of dollars for that promotion. So I think like this is really, really powerful what you're talking about.
And like engaging with their content too. Like if they post about you on Instagram, there's been times where I'm like, how are you not going in and like if I'm not managing your socials, you better be going, first of all, you better follow them. I encourage that. Some people might not. But and nowadays also with the how the messaging works on Instagram, like I would absolutely follow your ambassadors. Plus I think they appreciate that. Um
Can
and
be
then I would like
lost in messaging too, right? So,
yeah,
because
it can now it gets lost in your message request. So I've gone in and I'm like, hey guys, you got to do that. You got to move them over there because they just shared about you. And also, you should definitely be commenting and liking and engaging with all the content when they're tagging you. 100%.
Lovely. I think one
Yeah.
other idea that's related is to make a page that's dedicated for your affiliates. Some of the brands on Saral do this where they have like brand name affiliates, for example, and it's a private Instagram account
Yeah.
that only follows their affiliates and the affiliates follow them. So they're doing like welcome posts, like hey, welcoming this new person as a as an ambassador. They're shouting out like top performers. They're doing the whole community management angle just through a Instagram account, and they have like a ambassador of the month, they have giveaways, they do tons of these things, and everything is just through this private account, and it also creates this exclusivity because it's meeting the influencers on the platform which they are on, which is Instagram, and it's a private account, so you only accept follow requests from your influencers. It's like a nice tight knit community. So I think that's also a great idea. Very easy to execute. Like you just create another Instagram account and get
Yeah.
all your influencers on there. So yeah, if anybody wants to steal
100%.
that, do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think like Slack, Discord, I've heard of like a lot of different methods. Instagram, Facebook group, another one. Anyway, anywhere you can bring them together, I think is a good spot.